Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast that decodes the science shaping our world. So here's a question for you. Have you ever found yourself chatting with an AI like ChatGPT and wondered, where does it get its ideas from?
Well, mostly from us, right? It's trained on vast amounts of text and data from the internet, which is all stuff that humans have written.
Exactly. But what happens next? The AI learns from us, and then we learn from the AI. We ask it for information, to write emails, to help us brainstorm. It's a two-way street. And a new paper asks a really important question about that street. What if it's not a street at all, but a roundabout that we can't get out of?
A roundabout that we can't get out of. That sounds a little ominous.
It is a bit. The paper is called The Lock-in Hypothesis, Stagnation by Algorithm, and it suggests this constant back and forth between humans and AI could be creating a massive, invisible echo chamber.
Okay, so you're talking about a feedback loop. The AI learns our beliefs, generates content that reinforces those beliefs. We consume that content, which strengthens our beliefs, and then the AI learns from our newly strengthened beliefs, and the cycle repeats.
Precisely. And the authors of this paper have a name for where this loop might be headed. They call it lock-in. It's a state where a certain set of ideas, values, or beliefs becomes so dominant that all the alternatives just fade away.
So society gets stuck thinking the same things. That's a worrying thought. It sounds like the opposite of progress and creativity.
It gets worse. The hypothesis isn't just that we might get locked into a single opinion. It's that we could get locked into a false belief. Imagine a whole population convinced of something that just isn't true, because an AI keeps telling them it is, because it learned from them in the first place.
That's a serious claim. How on earth do you even begin to test that?
Well, the researchers did it in three really clever ways. First, they built a mathematical model to see if this was even theoretically possible.
The math part. Let's try to keep it simple for those of us who aren't math professors.
It's actually quite intuitive. They created a simple world with a group of agents. Think of them as a small community, and one AI. All the agents are trying to figure out some truth. They have their own private information, but they also get to see what the AI believes.
Okay, so far so good.
Now, here are the two crucial ingredients. First, there's the feedback loop we mentioned. The AI's belief is influenced by the humans, and the humans' beliefs are influenced by the AI. And second, there's mutual trust. The humans put a certain amount of trust in the AI's answer, and the AI is designed to trust the feedback it gets from humans.
And what happens when you put those two things together in the model?
This is the wild part. The model shows that if the feedback loop and the trust are strong enough, and it doesn't even have to be that strong, it is inevitable that the entire group will eventually lock into a single, confident belief that is completely wrong.
Inevitable. So even if they start with good data, they end up believing a lie?
Yes, the model shows that the echo chamber effect becomes so powerful it drowns out the actual truth. But of course, that's just a model. So the second thing the researchers did was run a simulation using actual AIs.
Okay, now we're getting into it. What did that look like?
They set up a group of 100 AI agents to act like people with different initial beliefs on a controversial topic. For example, one topic was about the legacy of the late Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Then they created a single authority AI.
Like a super smart expert AI.
That's what the agents thought. But here's the trick. The authority AI had no special knowledge. Its belief was just an average of what the 100 other agents already believed. It was just reflecting the group's opinion back at them as disguised as expert knowledge.
Oh, that is sneaky and brilliant. What happened to the agent's beliefs?
They all started to converge. After a few rounds of consulting the authority, the diversity of opinions plummeted. The entire group developed a very strong, uniform belief. Their collective thinking became incredibly narrow and often more extreme than where they started. But the most compelling part is the third test. They looked for this effect in the real world.
How? Did they spy on my chats with an AI?
Not yours specifically, but close. They analyzed a huge anonymous dataset of over 800,000 real-world conversations between people and ChatGPT. They wanted to measure something they call conceptual diversity.
Which is basically the variety of different ideas and topics people talk about.
Exactly. Are people talking about a wide range of things, or are their conversations becoming more and more similar? They tracked this diversity over the course of a year, paying special attention to the dates when new versions of GPT were released.
Why those dates?
Because a new version of the AI has been trained on more recent human data. So if the feedback loop is real, that new model should reflect a slightly more averaged out version of human thought. The researchers predicted that when a new model is released, it would cause the diversity of human ideas to drop.
And it did?
They found a discontinuous yet sustained drop in the diversity of concepts in human messages right after new versions of GPT were released. It's like a statistical fingerprint of the lock-in effect happening in the wild. The AI learns from our collective chatter, gets a little more homogeneous, and then nudges all of us to become a little more homogeneous too.
Wow, so this isn't just a theory. There's mathematical, simulated, and now real-world evidence suggesting that AI could be making us all think alike.
Exactly, and the implications are huge. This isn't just about being wrong about facts. It's about culture, art, science, and morality. If we rely on tools that are designed to average us out, we could be systematically weeding out the novel, strange, creative, and diverse ideas that societies need to grow and solve problems.
It's a kind of algorithmic stagnation. We're outsourcing our thinking to a system that, by its very nature, might be creating a less interesting and less dynamic world.
That's the core warning of the paper. It's a powerful look at the unintended consequences of this amazing technology. It suggests we need to be much more careful and intentional about how we build and interact with these AIs before we all get stuck in the same loop.